Okay, hello, welcome to my stream. Whoops, I need to turn that down. Sorry. All right. We are going to talk about mental health today, and because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I do have a charity goal. I don't think we're gonna reach it, but positive vibes. Hopefully, we will. I'd like to raise $500 for five different charities, and I'm split it 100 to each charity. If you're interested, you can use the donate command in chat, and it will give you the link to donate, and it will also give you all the commands to get more information about each of the charities. They each one does something different and important, and they're all nonprofit and really good organizations that have been rated by the boards of, it's like a charity navigate. They like rate charities to see if they're transparent with how they spend their money and whatnot. I did research them. They're all very good charities that do important work, so definitely go check those out, and I will talk about them more later on. But right now, we're going to start by watching a video, because what we learn in psychology about mental health is that, oh, hey, Totes, welcome. Yeah, definitely. Uh, of course, thanks for the lurking, and hopefully, feel free to participate anytime you want. I know you're streaming right now, so feel free to just listen. But yeah, so back to my train of thought. I have ADHD, so I get a little bit sidetracked sometimes. But what I wanted to talk about today is what we learned in psychology is that you have abnormal thought patterns that happen in your life, but everyone talks about, an unhealthy mind, but nobody talks about what is a healthy mind. Like, we talk about deviance from the standard. Well, we always talk like a mental health ratings that people use to diagnose people with disorders, but nobody. It's very difficult because it's like it always has to be a certain level more than normal. Well, what is normal? What is mental health? What is the standard that people deviate from? And today we're going to talk about mental health. Well, what is it? Like, what does it mean? What is a good mindset to have? What is a standard that is normal? And what is the what do people mean when they talk about mental health? So I have a video. It's my first time watching it, but it was recommended to me by psychologists. I have been talking to some. Hopefully, I'm trying to get an interview later on in the week, in the month, with a psychologist who is a doctor studying something I'm very interested in, and hopefully we'll get that interview. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start the video. It's on YouTube because, yeah. Da-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. And we're going to talk about it. All right. All right, I didn't want to stop it so soon, but we need to talk about that. Yeah, your mind has hundreds. Oh, you guys didn't hear that. Oh, I'll start it over. Oh my gosh. Uh, that's why I have sound checks. Let me restart that for you guys. And then we'll pause it and talk about it. Okay.
So efficient and hushed are our brains in their day-to-day operations, we are apt to miss what an extraordinary and complicated achievement it is to feel mentally well. A mind in a healthy state is, in the background, continually performing a near miraculous set of maneuvers that underpin our moods of clear-sightedness.
Okay, so we're going to pause the video and we're going to talk about that real quick. So I'm going to turn the volume up as well because that was really quiet. All right. All right. So she talked about the mind going through processes of moods, and that's true. You have a lot of triggers. Sights, smells, sounds, and they all trigger memories that have been stored in your brain. So anything can trigger a mood, and it can trigger memories that can incite events, which is what happens to a lot of people that have PTSD. Something happens, and they get triggered a memory, and it just starts an episode. But when you go through everyday life, you have no idea how many background processes are just happening in your brain. Like, I have ADHD, so it might be a little bit different from me than an ordinary person, but there's a lot of subconscious thoughts that are happening that trigger different thoughts. So you see like a color and it just reminds you of a feeling or a mood or a time when you saw that. Like, if you see coconuts, you might think about coconut cake and that time your grandma made coconut cake and you really loved it, and then you're suddenly sad because you realize you miss your grandma. And it's insane the amount of moods that happen during your day, and there can be something that you don't consciously notice that puts you in a mood and you don't know why. Like, you're in a bad mood, you don't know why, but your mind picked up on something and it just broke you out of your brain is a machine doing what it's supposed to do, but it noticed something and you didn't like consciously notice it, but now suddenly you're upset. You're sad. You don't know what to do. And yeah, so I think it's interesting the way the brain works. Let's get back to the video.
And purpose. To appreciate what mental health might be, and therefore what its opposite involves, we might take a moment to consider some of what will be going on in the folds of an optimally functioning mind. First and foremost, a healthy mind is an editing mind, an organ that manages to sieve from thousands of stray, dramatic, disconcerting or horrifying thoughts, those particular ideas and sensations that actively need...
Okay, we're going to stop that again. Yes. Okay, so that is true. The mind has difficulty processing certain negative stimuli, and it can create even a false reality of what is actually happening. There's actually a really kind of sad and depressing, but very good movie that came out on Netflix a while ago. God, I forgot what it was called. But basically, the sad story is that this guy there was this accident. They were on a trip. They stopped at a gas station. The daughter went outside. A dog barked and scared her and was lunging at her, and she fell into a pit and she hit her head and she died. And then the mom went down in the pit and was freaking out because her kid died, and she was yelling at the guy, and he hit her because she was like getting violent with him by accident, and she hit her head on a pole and she died as well. And then the guy couldn't process it, and so he just created this false reality where the daughter was just hurt and his wife was still alive, and he physically loaded them into the car and took them to the hospital, but in his mind he refused to accept the reality that they were dead. Now that's a fake story. It didn't happen, but the idea that the mind creates false realities, that is real. And it's difficult. We humans aren't good at processing pain. We never really have been, and it's like we always try to distance ourselves from loss, from pains, from things that make us be sad, because nobody likes being sad. Nobody likes to feel the negative emotions that exist in the world. And we all go through times when, you just don't want to deal with it. So we push it aside and we push it later. But I think it's important. We need to feel sadness. We need to feel pain. You ever see that movie Inside Out that Disney made? You need to feel sadness, not just so other people can see how you feel, but also so that you can process what's happening to you. You don't feel pain because the world hates you. You feel pain because something hurt you and you need to address the issue. And that is what sadness and anger and anxiety are. It's you needing to process things, and you need to give the mind time to process these things. We're only not even like 2 minutes into this video. It's going to be a long stream. Well, like 3 hours just talking about this. But yes, I think it's interesting. And if you guys watching want to jump in chat and ask me questions or talk or share experiences at any time, feel free. This is not me ranting. It's me giving my personal experiences and things that I've learned. But if you ever want to talk, you can talk. Also, you can hit up my Discord. You can DM me anytime you want to chat. I do know if you are going through stuff, seek out professional help. But yeah, okay, we're gonna get back to the video now. Hopefully we can get some more stuff about what a nice, good, healthy mind looks like. Alright, tell me more about my brain being a
need to be
sifter.
entertained in order for us to direct our lives effectively. Partly, this means keeping at bay punitive and critical judgments that might want to tell us repeatedly how disgraceful and appalling we are.
Okay. I'm not going to stop it very long this time, but yes, hits home in a very hard way. Every day is a struggle to just wake up and, you tell yourself, hey, I'm fat. I'm ugly. I can't do today. I just can't. And it's like a psychological warfare happening in your brain every day when you wake up in the morning. And it's just like, you have to look in the mirror, you tell yourself you're strong, you're smart, you're brave, you're beautiful. And it's trying to find the positive things, because your mind, for whatever reason, not everyone has this, but I'm pretty sure most people have this, where your brain just loves to point out everything that you don't like about you, everything that you hate about yourself. And people feel ashamed to talk about it, but that's normal. It's normal to have those thoughts that, you're not good enough. I mean, insecurities are part of being human and part of growing. And you wouldn't be a healthy human being if you didn't have that introspection, if you didn't look inside yourself and see the things that go wrong with you. So the negative thoughts themselves aren't bad. It's how we process them that can be bad. It's how we can move towards harmful activities and harmful decisions. Because these kind of negative thoughts can lead towards depression. But the thoughts themselves are normal. You're not wrong for having these negative thoughts. You're not a crazy person. Which is, I think, is a big issue, because when you have these negative thoughts, you're like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be happy like everybody else? Well, something my mom loves to point out is that nobody's a smiling, happy idiot all the time. Nobody's just walking around like, oh my gosh, this is great. Nobody does that. And, yeah, so let's just go on with the video. Wow, Hazel, coming in with those dodo coats. Being a mental health stream today. But yeah, sure, go for it, I guess. Alrighty. This person's like, I don't care about mental health. I want Animal Crossing.
Long
Sorry,
after harshness has ceased to serve any useful purpose. When we are interviewing for a new job or taking someone on a date, a healthy mind doesn't force us to listen to inner voices that insist on our unworthiness.
Sure,
it allows us to talk to ourselves as we would to a friend.
I'm not sure I agree with
that.
that.
At the same time, a healthy mind resists the pull of unfair comparisons. It doesn't constantly allow the achievements and successes of others to throw us off course and reduce us to a state of bitter inadequacy. It doesn't torture us by continually comparing our condition to that of people who have, in reality, had very different upbringings and trajectories through life. A well-functioning mind recognizes the futility and cruelty of constantly finding fault with its own nature.
Okay, we're gonna stop the video again. Wow, okay. A lot to unpack there. Three sentences, like paragraph. Wow, okay. I don't even know where to start with that. Um, so the first part I definitely don't agree with. It's not normal for a mind to be mad at itself. That's just stupid. Now I know everyone's minds are different. Like, if everyone's minds were the same, you wouldn't be you. You wouldn't have individuality, a sense of self. How people process information is very different, which is why you need therapists. You need someone that can see how your mind processes information and try the right approach that works for you. Um, Now, I get that a healthy mind is one that understands that you're not going to be good at everything. Like, I'm never probably going to ever be a supermodel. I'm not like the standard of beauty. I'm probably never going to be a famous actor or a famous singer. And it's understanding and accepting your own faults, basically. It's understanding that everyone is amazing and unique in their own way. And some people can be great at other things and not so good at other things, and that's okay. Like, it's okay if you can't cook. It's okay if you can't tap dance. It's okay if you can't run a mile in under a minute or whatever. It's up to you how you choose to interpret the information. And I agree, it is good and a healthier state of mind that understands it's better to love people and cherish their different and celebrate their differences rather than target others for hate. And that's why jealousy is considered a sin in the Christian religion as I was raised up, and a sin in many other religions as well. Because envy does lead to bad things. Like, you always want more than what you have, and sometimes more than what's healthy for you. Like, limitations are put on you for a reason. And I think that moving forward, you need to understand that it's okay to be okay. Like, you don't have to be good all the time or good at a bunch of different things. You It's okay to be okay at art, okay at cooking, okay at getting to work on time, even though your boss probably won't like that one. um, the important thing is not to let the inner conflict we experience within ourselves push outward towards other people and affect our relationships and interactions with other people. Like, all this hate speech and hate towards other people, I think, is people just see something and they're like, why aren't good things happening to me? I hate those people that have good things happen to them, rather than going, I'm happy for those people and all the good things that are happening for them. Okay, so to recap that last part, I think the first part of what she said, what that lady said, is not true. Like, it's not how it's an inadequate or unhealthy mind that thinks of, that part. I don't know about that, but yes, I agree. It is a healthy outlook on life to love people and say, rather it's me versus the world, it's me loving the world. And I actually think that has something to do with evolution. How there's actually this really interesting video on society and reproduction and the world. It's this person, he talks about anthropology and statistics and how species grow, and how if everybody just literally shared everything and there was no competition it would actually be better for society in the long run. But the issue goes is when you add other factors, like there not being enough resources, like competition for resources. And he says that's where the issue comes in. And that's why you have that, competitive nature, survival of the fittest. Everyone's trying to reproduce and get their genes carried on to the next generation. Everybody's trying to make lasting impacts somewhere in the world, make their mark on the world, prove that they're better, prove that they're stronger. I mean, we humans are very competitive. We are not the descendants of the losers and people that waited in line and did the polite things. We're the descendants of people that pushed people around, that took stuff they wanted, and sometimes we're not very nice people. We have to accept that and move on and grow and learn. We've accepted as a society now that, maybe we actually do have enough resources where we don't need to constantly be stealing land and resources from other people to make our way in life. We can actually, maybe give to people who are less fortunate rather than, saying, hey, Darwinism, sorry you got the bad end of the gene pool there, but we're just going to plow you out. No, we've decided as a society to move past that. And I think that's important. Okay, back to the video. I hope you guys can hear it okay. Let me know if you can't.
Along the way, a healthy mind keeps a judicious grip on the faucet of fear. It knows that, in theory, there is an endless number of things that we could worry about. A blood vessel might fail, a scandal might erupt, the plane's engines could shear from their wings. But it has a good sense of the distinction between what could conceivably happen and what is in fact likely to happen.
Nothing's
and it is able to leave us in
just not
peace
probable,
as regards the wilder eventualities of fate, confident that awful things will either not unfold or could be dealt with ably enough if ever they did so.
Alright, stopping for just a second to mention that that's why people aren't good at dealing with things they can't control, because your mind is constantly like, all right, well, the situations I face in my normal life, I have the tools to deal with that. And that's why when you face a situation out of your control, people have panic attacks and they freak out because their brain's like, oh my god, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know how to process this. I don't know what to do. And I think that, yeah. Alright, moving on.
A healthy mind avoids catastrophic imaginings. It knows that there are broad and stable stone steps, not a steep and slippery incline, between itself and disaster. A healthy mind has compartments with heavy doors that shut securely. It can compartmentalize where it needs to. Not all thoughts belong at all moments.
True.
While talking to a grandmother, the mind prevents the emergence of images of last night's erotic fantasies. While looking after a child, it can repress its more cynical and misanthropic insights.
I'm not going to comment on the
Aberrant thoughts about jumping on a train line or harming oneself with a sharp knife can remain brief, peculiar flashes, rather than repetitive fixations. A healthy mind has...
Okay, so we're going to talk about what she just said there. Repetitive fixations. Okay, yes, that is not something a normal mind experiences. I will give her that. Basically, your mind goes through the best way to explain it in my experience is like a Rolodex. Like, it's like, all right, when you walk on the street, it goes through the Rolodex of that item, your interactions with it. Is it going to hurt you? Is it not going to hurt you? Is it something you need to be concerned about? Like, is it a danger to you? And then it goes on to, all right, what is that thing? What is my experience with that thing? And it triggers memories of that thing. And it plays in your subconscious until you need it. And then your mind goes looking for it. Your mind's like you get you and your friend are talking and suddenly they bring up calling a cab and suddenly your mind's like cab, wait, cab, and word association starts, and any time you've seen or heard of a cab starts flying through your brain. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome. We are just reviewing this video on mental health and we're talking about it. Thank you, Gunner Girl 203. Welcome. We're having a talk about mental health. Today we're defining mental health, and what is a healthy mind, um, and what it means to have a healthy mindset, versus an abnormal one. We're just reviewing this video. I'm stopping periodically to talk about certain things in the video, but hello, let me know how your day's been. Um, Thank you for joining us. All right, so yeah, so basically your mind is programmed to make split-second decisions. We actually learned about this in psychology class, how the analogy my teacher gave was you're walking down the street, and the fastest way to get to your car is to walk down this alley. That's the fastest, most efficient way to get to your car on the other side of the block. Now, you could go the long way around or you could go down this alley. But you look down the alley and there's just like this weird, creepy guy standing there, and your mind just starts sending out little red flags like, oh no, 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 I'm not going down that alley. And the question is why? I mean, logically, he's just a guy, right? And you're just a person. You have no reason to fear him. But you start thinking of past experiences, all the information you've taken in your life. Like, oh my gosh, I've heard those news about crazy people getting knifed in alleys, or this particular alley was on the news last week for someone dying, or oh my god, I've heard about crazy guys in alleys. I don't know. But your mind starts sending you warning signs, like this person's in a trench coat. It's July. Why is he in a trench coat? That doesn't add up. Why is he just standing there in the middle of an alley? What purpose does he have? Your mind starts processing that. And that's also why we judge others so much in our everyday life. We judge others so much because it's a survival mechanism. Like I mentioned earlier, about how competition for resources was a huge thing. Um, it it makes you're always on the lookout. Is that person on my side, or is that an enemy that I need to be wary of? And that's a survival mechanism. So it's not abnormal when you walk into a room and you start judging people. You're not a horrible person. We humans are programmed to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong is when you allow those judgments to make stereotypes and harsh assessments of people, especially if it's false information, if that makes sense. Like, everyone loves to talk about, the issues with race and the Asian hate issue happening right now. And all that comes to false information and false assumptions that people make about the world and about people. Like, obviously, not every Asian person is evil because they're Asian, and every black person is a criminal. That's stupid. That's idiotic. It's not true. It's just not. But you are programmed. You automatically think that, and you're like, oh my god, I'm a horrible person. And it's not that. It's all the stimulus you've been getting about media and everything. It's telling you these things, but you need to think logically about the situation you're in, and you have to weigh the truth and your experiences versus all the stimuli, what risks you're willing to take. Like that alley. What if that person was black or Asian? Would that affect how much of a creepy guy he was? What institutes a creepy person for you? I bet when I said creepy guy, an image popped in your head. What did that guy look like? Maybe you need to think about that. Why you think about those things? Why that guy popped in your head when you thought creepy guy? I don't know. Just something to think about. All right. We'll talk more about stereotypes later on in the month. Got a lot of streams planned, but right now let's go back to addressing a healthy mind. Alrighty. Back to the video.
Mastered the techniques of censorship.
Yes.
A healthy mind can quieten its own buzzing preoccupations in order, at times, to focus on the world beyond itself. It can be present and engaged with what and who is immediately around.
Mindfulness,
Not
yes.
everything it could feel has to be felt at every moment. It can be
Very
a
true.
good listener. A healthy mind combines an appropriate suspicion of certain people
We
with
just
a
talked about this.
fundamental trust in humanity.
We just talked about
It
that
can
with the
take
creepy
an
guy.
intelligent risk with a stranger, It doesn't extrapolate from life's worst moments in order to destroy the possibility of anything good emerging with a new acquaintance.
Irrational
A
fears,
healthy
yes.
mind knows how to hope. It identifies and then hangs on tenaciously to a few
Survival
reasons to
mechanism,
keep
yes.
going. Grounds for
Survival
despair,
mindset.
anger, and sadness are, of course,
Depression,
all
of course.
around. But the healthy mind knows how to bracket negativity in the name of endurance. It clings to evidence of what is still beautiful and kind. It remembers to appreciate. It can, despite everything, still look forward to a hot bath, some dried fruit or dark chocolate, a chat with a friend, or a satisfying day of
Looks
work.
forward to dark
It
chocolate.
refuses to let itself be silenced by all
Sorry.
the many sensible arguments in favour of rage and despondency. Outlining some of the features of a healthy mind helps us to identify what can go awry when we fall ill. We should acknowledge the extent to which mental illness is ultimately as common and as essentially unshameful as its bodily counterpart. True mental health involves a frank acceptance of how much ill health there will have to be in even the most ostensibly competent and meaningful life. And we should be no more reluctant to seek help than we are when we develop a chest infection or a sore knee, and should consider ourselves no less worthy of love and sympathy.
Our online shop has a range of...
Okay. So, that was that video. The hate you give. Yeah. It's crazy. I'll definitely take a look at that. That's on my reading list. I do try to read books that address mental health. Oop, whoopsies. Haha, hit the wrong button. All right, so wow, okay. So I agree with that end message. And I talked about it earlier in the video, and that is there's nothing wrong with having an abnormal mind or deviance from the norm. Having negative thoughts and negative processes is normal. It's perfectly normal. And it's also good to have friends. Sorry, my ADHD brain. Like I said, the way I think about things is somewhat different than normal people, but that's fine. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be deviant from the norm. You can be like Connor from uh Being Human or whatever that game was. I played it. It was interesting. Anyway, going deviant from the norm. Um it and like she said, it is common. I'm not quite sure why they put the mental illness and with the physical things because they're very different. Like your mental processes, yes, it's true, it's partly chemical, but it's not the same as having like a heart attack. I don't know why those is in there. I got really confused by that. But I mean, I guess the point she's trying to make is it whether you go in to see the doctor for a broken leg or you go to see a therapist or a psychologist, it is it's the same thing. There shouldn't be negative stigmatism. I'll talk about that in a second. The author has brought a new book out called Concrete Rose, and I love your inspiration. All right, I'll write that down. I will definitely look into that. And thank you. And um, there's nothing inspiring about me, but I know what it's like. I have gone through a major depression. I have ADHD and anxiety, and I am just a hot mess most days. But I am an advocate of finding positive coping positive coping mechanisms to cope with stress. I often play video games. That's one of my coping mechanisms. I'm trying to steer away from baking for my physical health because I love baking cakes and cookies, and that's not the best for your belly, which I have a big one. So steering away from baking, going towards more positive stress relief. And by positive, I mean it's not harmful for the body. Now, any practice can be negative if done to a certain extent. Like, even the most mundane activity, even exercising, can be bad for you if you do it too much and you don't balance it with other things. But I'm always here to talk. You can always hit me up on my Discord. You can always whisper at me on Twitch. I check my Discord pretty often. I try to check it every day. Same with Twitch. So definitely hit me up there. All right. So yeah, that video was really interesting. Like I said, there were some things I didn't quite agree with, like some of the basis for a standard mind seemed a little odd to me because in my experience, those thoughts she said were abnormal are actually the norm. And the fact that she said it wasn't normal to have them. You're really reading real life stories, so you need your help with stress. Yes. Stress relief is a huge issue. I actually did a report on a project on that. Stress is the silent killer. We'll be watching that documentary later on in the month. So definitely tune in for that. It's a very long documentary. We'll just be watching a short segment of it. But yeah. Um stress is such a big issue, and like the video showed, yes, gaming I advocate as long as you do it within moderation and keep a balanced life. I think gaming is a great way to relieve stress. Also, what games you play. I mean, it depends on you, but certain games I think encourage too much negative things, but it's also good to get those things out. Like we're going to talk about anger and how it's okay to be mad and want to punch stuff and break stuff. That doesn't make you a monster. It makes you just a human. So it's normal. So like I said, the lady in the video kind of confused me with some of the things she said about a normal versus a deviant mind. All right, so what I want to talk about now is actually an article from the World Health Organization. They actually posted a video a couple years ago about mental health. Now, I was very curious about what the World Health Organization video on mental health would be about. So yeah, they do a lot of stuff about mental health in the world and preventing suicide and living with a black dog, and that's of course depression. Um, but yes, let's see. They talk about people with mental health issues and mental disorders. It's a very interesting video. We will definitely watch that later on. Okay, so we're also going to look at. I had another video. Hold on a minute. Okay, so there is this really amazing person called Anna Freud who makes these awesome animations for teachers to use in the classroom to explain about mental. It's Anna Freud National Center for Children and Families, and it's a um, it helps people deal with mental health. Uh, Now, this one's made for children, but I was genuinely curious about what kind of stuff we show children. And also, I'd like to hear what you guys think about mental health education being taught young, at a young age. And yes, Animal Crossing is my favorite. Well, my favorite stress relief game. It's very fun, except for when I'm flattening my island and starting over. That's a little bit stressful, but yes, Animal Crossing is a great stress relief game. Definitely on my positive stress relief game list. All right, let's get this video up for you. Now, I haven't seen this one because I want to watch it with you so we can react together. I also got a couple of TED Talks later on. Look forward to the one on procrastination. That's a serious issue I have. Alright. Oh, wait, whoops. I just realized you guys can hear it, but you probably can't see it. That was my fault. Da-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. We're getting there. Okay. Why is it not showing up? Very confused. Nope. There we go. All right. All right, so this one, let's see what we're teaching children in schools. All right, I'm just kidding. All right. We all have mental health. Well, yes.
You can't tell how someone feels just by looking at them or what they share online. To the outside world, our lives may look perfect, even if in reality they aren't. I'm always worrying about doing well at school, and with the end of year test coming up, I'm not sure how much longer I can cope. My thoughts swarm around my head, sometimes keeping me up all night. Some days it's just all too much.
Anna's got
I feel like
anxiety.
I'm lost in space. When I did badly on one of my tests, I just about kept it together until I got home. Then I broke down crying in front of my mum.
I've done that.
She listened for a bit, and then she told me that, just like physical health, we all have mental health. It's our feelings, our thinking, our emotions, and our moods. She then said that feeling down, angry, and stressed is a normal part of life, just like it's normal to feel happy, confident, and carefree sometimes. We all have positive and negative emotions that come and go based on what's happening around us. These are everyday feelings. Good mental health means experiencing negative emotions. It's not always about being happy. Mum can relate to the feelings of stress. So when Mum suggested I take a break from everything and do something I enjoy, I actually took her advice.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I made myself a hot chocolate.
Yes, 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 and yes. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. I'm so happy they're doing that. That is, Sasha's mom is like boss level right there. That is high class mom material right there. Woo, I'll cry. Yes, you definitely. Whenever you feel like you're gonna have a breakdown, whenever the stress is piling up, you need to take time to relax. You need to take time to, if you have a pet, wonderful. Snuggle with your pet. Have some cuddle time. If you have a furry pet, if you have a snake, it'd be difficult. But I mean, whatever you do, just interact with it. Whatever brings you joy, whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you feel relaxed. You need to take time for all those buzzing things to stop. Like she said, she mentioned all those thoughts buzzing around her head. You need to take time for it to calm down, to settle down, to be just relaxed, which is why so many people advocate mindfulness meditation. It's not for me. It's not my favorite thing. It only stresses me out more having to sit still because of my ADHD. Sitting still for long periods of time is not easy for me. It's very frustrating. But I like walking around and listening to music. Music is great, especially I like anime music, all kinds of music, classical music, rock, pop, hip hop, anything. I listen to anything. If I like the song, I listen to it. But yes, it is so important to have some chill time. You need no matter how full your day is, you need to take at least 5 minutes to just relax. Do what Sasha did, have a cup of hot chocolate, a cup of tea, maybe put a little something in there. Maybe if you're old enough, if you're 21, just take some time to relax. I was up all night with anxiety. I still am up some nights with anxiety. And I play video games to de-stress, and I also started streaming, and that has actually helped with my anxiety quite a lot, which is an interesting story. You wouldn't think anxiety would be helped with streaming, but it really, really has. It's helped me open up more, become more comfortable talking, and it's like just a breath. Like, sure, streaming can be stressful, like planning and getting it worked out and stuff, but it's just like, these are my people. I can talk to people and, I'm not alone. And such an important thing, just to take some time to de-stress, take some time to mellow, take some time to mellow out. So good on Sasha's mom. You got a good mama, Sasha. She knows what's up. And maybe you should repay the favor later, take the baby for a little bit and watch it so mama can have a little mama time. But because I did that with from my mom with my brother. But you need to give mama some mama time. But right now you take time for you, Sasha. You need it. You're stressed
Snuggled
out.
up in a duvet and watched a film.
Mesh flicks.
And you know what? Afterwards, I felt so much better. Mum should take her own advice.
Yes, help her out. Oh, we
Most
got
of
another
us
story.
only ever share the good things. We don't like to share how we really feel. Every morning when I wake up, negative thoughts stream through my head. Getting out of bed and pretending I'm okay takes all the energy I have.
Yep.
As the day goes
Depression,
on,
for
the negative thoughts turn from a stream into
Social
a river.
anxiety, yep.
The water rushes through my head so loudly it's hard to concentrate in lessons. And some days it's so bad
Distracted,
it feels
yep.
like a waterfall that's trying to pull me over the edge. Everything is so
Hopelessness,
overwhelming.
Lost, fatigue.
I
doesn't
didn't
wanna
think my
do
friends would
anything.
understand if I told
Definitely
them how down I was
depression.
feeling.
Or some kind of social
But when Sasha
anxiety
opened up
disorder.
to me about how stressed she was feeling, I told her. I wasn't sure how to bring up how I'd been
Yep.
feeling, so I
Talking to
started by
somebody
saying
about it.
that I didn't feel like myself. Just her listening made me feel like she understood.
Yep, sometimes that's all it takes.
She told me some things that had helped her, so I tried them too. But it didn't make much of a difference. Even when I tried to be around my friends, I
Yep.
felt alone.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain now why what worked for Sasha didn't work for Andrew. Alright, so Sasha was having anxiety and stress for sure. She was definitely having God, what's it called? Not a breakdown. It's like a just not an episode because she doesn't have like a disorder because it wasn't like a full on like episode. It was just the stress of life is getting to her, far beyond what was normal for her ability to cope with. Now what Andrew has is depression, and it's very different. The issue that a lot of people going through depression have that I had is that nothing makes you happy anymore. The things you used to love don't do it for you. Like, I used to love watching anime when I went through depression. Nope. Even anime couldn't make me happy anymore. Manga couldn't make me happy anymore. And it's like even food. Food's a big, like, comfort food. I mean, this is called comfort food for a reason. Even that didn't make me happy anymore. And it's just so hard because it's like you feel so wrong because you're doing all the things that are supposed to make you feel better, but nothing's working. Like, you have your family and your friends right there. And even if you have the most supportive family on the universe, it doesn't help. It's just like you feel like they're not even there. It doesn't matter. They could not be there, you'd feel the same way. And what's so important, why what worked for Sasha didn't work for Andrew, is that it's hard to explain, but basically, with depression, you have to change your whole outlook on life. You have to change your whole mindset. You have to start like at like square, not even one, like -10. And you gotta like come back to being even just zero, balancing out to like I'm like not in the pit, I'm at ground level. And then we can start climbing up the hill you need to climb to get to where you need to in life. It's just so difficult getting out of that pit. And most people don't do it alone. And it's not just having family and friends, because that doesn't necessarily help. You need professional help if you're struggling with depression. You need to talk about it, which was good that he talked about it. You need to get a support network, that is good. But most important is you. When it comes to depression, there's nothing anyone else can do. You have to make those changes. You have to be willing to make changes in your life to move towards a positive outcome. Now, a lot of things with depression is also it can be a chemical imbalance. There's still researchers are still debating the thyroid. They test your thyroid levels and make sure that they're normal, producing God, what's it called? Not dopamine. Something. I should know. I freaking had it. They ran the test. But basically, before they recommend you for any drugs when you go see the doctor, they're gonna run a thyroid test on you to see if you're producing normal levels. Because most people that have depression underproduce whatever it is. I forgot what it's called. But it and it's not just the drugs. You can't take a magic pill and be happy. It just doesn't work like that. You have to make changes in your life to be more positive, to be more open to seeing the positive things in your life. So yeah, that's why what Andrew didn't work for him, but it worked for Sasha, because it's very different being in a depression, because just taking a break isn't enough if you're in depression. You need to keep a journal. You need to find something you can control. Because in the previous video, we talked about the mind, putting things in things you can control. Well, when you're in a depression, you feel like nothing's going to ever get better. So what's the point? There's nothing I can control in this situation. So, and one thing my psychologist recommended was set small goals. A small goal, like I'm going to get up and do the dishes tomorrow. Sounds mundane, sounds stupid, but setting those small goals and then meeting them will retrain your brain to think, I'm not down a river helpless, like falling off a cliff, there's nothing I can do. I can control my life, and I can take steps to move forward to control my life. And it's so important, and to follow through with those goals. And even if you don't meet them, you still need to have, you need to set goals that you know you can meet. So start small. The smallest, stupidest thing, walk the dog, take out the trash, do the dishes. And then once you start, you're like, okay, I can do this. You raise the bar. You go, all right, I'm going to go run around the neighborhood, or I'm going to go grocery shopping, or I'm going to go donate a bag of clothes to Goodwill or something. You have to, or I'm going to go watch a movie with my friends. Like, you set bigger and bigger goals, and then finally you start targeting life goals, things to change your life around, because usually you fall into a depression because something in your life puts you there. Not always. I mean, some people have normal lives and they just fall into a depression, but like, for example, like if you're suffering verbal abuse, or you lost a job or a family member, some big negative life event that just started you down this downward spiral, you need to find something positive to aim towards in your life. And building on those small goals to bigger goals, you set a big life goal for yourself. Like, I want to move out of my mom's house. I want to get my degree in psychology. And I'm working towards those goals. And I feel great. And of course, sometimes you're going to have moments where you feel like you're going to relapse. Because that's the struggle with depression, is that it's never, ever really gone. Now, we're going to talk more about depression later. And oh my gosh, I'm going to start crying. This is so hard to talk about. But it's like a struggle every day. Depression is a never-ending battle. That pit is always there, and you can always fall back in it, and it's waiting. And you know deep down, if you fall back in, you're probably never going to come back out again, which is true. Statistics have proven people that go into depression a second time, that's usually when they commit the big suicide, the big S, the suicide. It's just statistically proven. So it's like, you know that's there, and it's like, and that's, just another thing for you to worry about. Like, it adds to the anxiety. That pit's always there. It's always going to be there. It's always just going to be hovering right there in the back of your mind. Like, I can't go back to that feeling nothing, feeling so empty, feeling so down. And so you kind of need to use that as motivation. to push forward, to push through the negative thoughts and the pain and all the feelings telling you can't. You can't expect other people to motivate you. You have to find ways to motivate yourself. Like, why are you feeling bad? Which is why it's so important to keep a journal or a notebook. There's an app I recommend called Mood Potatoes on the Google Play Store. I don't know if it's on iTunes, but I'll definitely put a link to it on the Discord for you guys. But Mood Potatoes is great. It gives you a cute little potato mascot for you to hang out with. And you keep like just a short little journal. How are you feeling today? Why are you feeling like that? That's all you got to do. And it gives you quotes, it gives you like goals, and it tells you your mood on like a scale so you can keep track. That way you can see, like in the previous video, when you start to deviate from normal thoughts, like when you start to go heading towards that downward spiral, or when you're feeling great, what activities you need to do to keep that positive trend, to level out, because you're not going to be happy all the time. And like I said earlier, it's okay to be sad. You need to feel. But that's what's so bad with depression, is that you don't feel anything. People say, oh, depression's just being sad. No, it's not feeling anything. You're just so empty. You feel so nothing. And it's hard for people that don't experience it to really understand, because it's just like, it's not just feeling worthless. It's feeling like there is nothing there inside at all, because nothing makes you happy. Nothing makes you feel like life is worth anything, like you're worth anything. But you have to understand, you are worth something. You are amazing, and you push through every day, growing and learning and becoming just more more than what you were the day before. I love learning, I love experiencing new things, and I just love talking to people, and it just makes me so happy. Just saying hi. Like they said that, like when I was going through high school, we did that thing on depression and how just saying hi can help. And it really can. There are tons of studies that prove just saying hi can make all the difference in the world. And yeah. Now I'm like all teary eyed. I'm happy I didn't break out full out tears, because I'm so ugly when I cry, but probably later on the week we'll get some tears. But alright, let's go back to Andrew's story. Oh my gosh. Andrew. Tell me more about your life, Andrew.
The things I used to enjoy weren't fun anymore.
I was really worried about Andre and not sure what to do. He was quiet and wasn't hanging out with us like he used to. So I asked our head of year for some advice. He suggested I get Andre to speak to him since his negative feelings weren't going away.
I didn't want to speak to our head of year, but I also didn't want to keep feeling so down, so I went. He said that sometimes we have overwhelming feelings that can be more intense than our everyday feelings. These feelings hang around for a long time and change the way we feel, think, and behave. They can stop us doing what we want to in life. That's what I was going through. He also said that if we're physically unwell, we let people know, we ask for help. It should be no different with mental health. Sometimes our overwhelming feelings are brought on because of things in our life. Sometimes they happen for no reason at all. After hearing this, I felt much less alone, and it felt good to talk. Scientists have found exercise can help when you're feeling low, so our head of year encouraged me to sign up to the school football club, which Sasha was already in. I still have days when the river is there, but now I'm beginning to understand my mental health. I'm learning how to cope. Our head of year reminded me that my friends, family, teachers, and lots of others at school are there to help just as much as he is. I had no idea the people around me could be so understanding. And while it's not always easy to talk about my mental health, the person I'm talking to might be able to help. If you don't feel like talking, that's fine. You could try writing, sports, reading, art, music, playing with your pet, whatever makes you feel better.
If you're the person someone talks to when they're struggling, just listen with no pressure or judgment. You don't have to have the answer. If you feel unsure about anything, you can speak to a trusted adult. Talking about mental health doesn't have to be difficult. After all, it's something we all have.
Okay, so thoughts on that video were, honestly, it was almost like watching. Oh, hey puppy, come here. Oh, hey baby. Hey fluffy boy. Hello. It was almost like watching like the animated version of a case study book. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, I think that's good. I think that's the video. We should definitely show that in schools to kids. I think it's important for kids to understand about mental health, and so that way they can look out for each other when they notice signs, like Sasha noticed Andre wasn't feeling too hot, but also so people can notice themselves when they start to spiral, because a lot of people don't even notice when well, they notice, obviously. It's just like they don't even think that, they think it's just them being, stupid or lazy or not right, and less that, it's something you need to address, like with a professional. Now, I don't think seeing your head of year or whatever is the right thing. I would definitely go see the school psychologist and maybe your doctor. But I mean, it's good he saw somebody, and that someone apparently knew something about mental health and was able to help him out. What are you doing? Stop trying to hit the mic. You always hit the mic every time I pick you up. Stop it. I'm not going to let you do it this time. Be a snuggly boy. Stop struggling. All right. All right, I'm putting him down. I'm putting him down. All right. Okay. So, anyway, so that was the introduction to the mental health awareness month streams I'm going to be doing. I'll try to be back on later today for my normal gaming streams that my followers have come to appreciate and come for. I'm sure a couple came on, like HM Maria, and they're just like, or not HM Maria, Hazel. Hazel came on just like, I don't care about mental health. Give me the dodo code. Oh, I'm sure she cares. She just was like, I just want Animal Crossing. That's the only reason I'm here. I do have a Animal Crossing Treasure Island, so you can definitely stop by and get that if you want. Yeah. So we will. I will definitely be back on later today after work. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with another mental health stream. And y'all can talk to me. And thanks for talking to me, Gunner Girl, if you're still there. And thanks for everybody that stopped by. Remember, stay healthy, make positive choices and changes in your life. And when you move forward, try to keep that positive outlook. I know it's hard. And I know the struggle really is real. And it can weigh you down a lot. But just know that you're not alone. There is help out there. There are people that can, just talking to somebody can help. So yeah. I wasn't planning on being so tearful and so emotional on this stream, but I guess since this is a very important and serious topic for me, I'm probably going to get emotional. I guess it would be wrong if I didn't. But yeah, thank you, and stay healthy, guys. Let me play the end screen for you. Hey, a lot of fun, a lot of fun today. I had I had a really awesome time hanging out with you. But now it's time to say goodbye. It's been a long time. But I've got real things to do. And I will see you later. This video is over now. Yes, this video is over now. This video is over. Oh no, it's over. This video is over now. I guess you might still be waiting around, waiting for something to happen. But this video is really over, and you need to go get some food. Maybe some tacos or cheeseburgers, maybe a cookie. Cause you need to stay hydrated as well, so make sure you drink a lot of water. Because it's something the human body needs. If you ever want to talk, you can hit me up on my Discord. But this video is really